Yes. Yes.
Sweet as. All right, here we are. We are at our final export episode A7. Thanks everyone, all the artists for being here. It's the best time of my week to get everyone on and chat art. That's what we do. Today we've got 4 guests. One of them is still to appear. It's Merebi. He'll be here soon. But we've got Chicken. Chicken is from AVAX. We've got Ragnakakuu, which is he's an artist based one artist based on Fantom, and Kvarters as well is based on Fantom, and then Merebi, who is we're waiting to appear. He'll be here any minute. He is his work is released and based on the Ethereum network and the Polygon network. Okay, sweet. Without further ado, we'll just jump into it. Chicken, we're going to start with you, or Gravy. I'll call you Gravy because I enjoy that. Here he is, Merebi. Alrighty. So, Chicken. Chicken is a 2D and 3D motion designer. He's an animator by trade. The programs he uses is After Effects and C4D, which I'll ask a bit of questions out because I'm not actually familiar with that program. He's previously worked with or enjoys kind of the physical nature of artwork. He's working with oil pastels and acrylics. But at the moment he's basically working exclusively digital, as you can see with the Chicken project. 90% of his personal work is created with an iPad using Procreate. It's a pretty familiar combo us digital artists know. For the Chicken NFT, he's been working intimately with Photoshop, which is a bit different because he's usually pretty much solely working in After Effects, right? He describes his genre as playful absurdism, strong bright colors with unexpected content, playing into good humor and not taking things too seriously. I can probably relate in many ways with the Mingos. Chicken NFT, currently working on a second Chicken NFT's project, and he's currently working on a second generation called Rooster. That's set. There's an early stage development, P2E game. I'd love to talk a little bit about that, because kind of your artistic involvement in that. But Rooster will be launching in the Q1 of this year. And the first generation of the P2E game, Q2. We'll get Chicken to Gravy to talk a little bit more about that. But Gravy, take it away. Can you tell us about kind of like your history as an animator and a motion designer, and how that kind of led you into the combination or the team that you're with now, and your general introduction into the AVAX space and the NFT space?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you very much for having me, first off. Great to be here. I haven't done many interviews yet,
Welcome.
it's a fun new experience, being sort of thrust into the limelight to talk about these crazy internet projects. But it's been really great so far, and the response from people has been really positive. So that's been really satisfying to have that sort of, when you work on a project for a really long time and then sort of you put it out and, you get like a nice response. But with it sort of disseminating across thousands of people, you get, that by times 10, it just feels fantastic to have people like printing these things out and putting them on walls. And like somebody made pillowcases, people have made mugs, and this is all sort of, unprompted, just people enjoying the product, which is, I don't know, feels fantastic.
Fuck yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so me personally, like you mentioned, I've been an animator, motion designer for about 12 years now. It's a pretty weird one because you end up doing, like, motion design is such a broad category. A lot of it is, sort of like 2D design, through Illustrator, and you're making sort of, very clean work there. And then you can also make some really fantastic collage work. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with After Effects, but you can make just so many different things with it. I mean, you could probably produce a lot of Chicken straight in After Effects and skip Photoshop entirely and be non-destructive, which is always fantastic. You mentioned sort of Cinema 4D as well. That's another big component of my sort of day-to-day. It just mixes really well with After Effects because you can sort of do there's a big push for photorealism in 3D and motion design these days, but you really have an opportunity to make non-photoreal, just really nicely designed things. And then the third component of your question, sort of where we're at now, is that the case?
Yeah,
Froyd.
like where you're at now, but also like really interested to hear kind of your introduction into it, like how you found the project, and
Oh
kind of.
yes, yeah, yeah, of course.
Yep.
Um, yeah, thanks. Um, yeah, so this kicked off last year. It was a bit of a lockdown baby. I'm sure many people have had that experience.
Ah, yes. Yep.
Um, but you sort of have a bit more time on your hands all of a sudden, and you think I should probably fill this with something that's going to consume my life for the next 5 years. Um, sorry, I think some birds are roosting outside. If you can hear that lovely
It's actually
ambience.
quite pleasant.
Ah, that's good. Better than the curl who's screaming this morning. Um,
I love chicken.
yeah. Oh, thanks, man. Um, so it's a bit of a happenstance. My Dr. Books, he and I used to live together, and then sort of temporarily, and then we ended up chatting about sort of NFTs because I knew he was into crypto for quite a while, and he was talking about sort of generative art and like how it would be done. I thought, fuck this, like why don't I just like work with you
Hmm.
and we can make something great. You've got all this financial background. It's fantastic. Um, and then we sort of had this natural need for a developer, and like we brought in some other people, and just sort of really organically grew into this team that we have today of six. And that sort of really allowed us to just start throwing things around. We had a couple of different concepts early on that we were trying out before Chicken, and then it was one of the devs who made a sort of small little proof of concept just to test out some generative software, and it was just this sort of rogue little chicken with a pair of Vans on and some sunglasses, and just you know putting through all the permutations of that. Like what do those PNGs look like? And we all just really loved this little weird proof of concept, and we decided, we don't need to search for something that's going to have sort of mass market appeal, or like not let's not design something that is going to be you know not designed to be liked, but just something that
Mm.
we like already. Like it's more
Not
of a passion
overthinking it,
project
right?
that way.
Not
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It's like don't overcook it.
fully.
And then, so we just took that, and I started sort of gussing it up a bit, bringing in all these new traits, and playing around with lighting and camera, not cameras, sorry, but the sort of the different angles and assets to use. It's a real tricky one because it's photorealistic, but it's also massively manipulated.
Yep.
So none of the source material that you'll see in there looks anything like what it used to be in terms of color or space or
Yep.
even liquefied, you know.
It's
So it's been a pretty chaotic ride so far.
it's pretty interesting. Like just over 7 episodes of doing this, the similarities in everyone's stories. Like it's always they've got some friend or someone they've respected from their past who's kind of helped them catapult into the space in some way or shape or form. Um, that's epic, man. And can you talk about? I'm going to drop this image that you shared with me, which is the one with the drawing all over it, which is the rooster.
Oh yeah,
Now, now
absolutely.
can you use this as an opportunity to kind of talk about how your brain approached the process? I mean, I love that out of just like testing it, you didn't want to go too much further, and you kind of kept things simple. But can you talk about like
Yeah,
the challenges that were arisen, and like the way that you kind of approached each chicken, and I guess and the challenges that were there?
yeah, for sure, for sure. The limitations are always something you need to work with, I think, in a project like this. Like you need to find the walls and then use that to your advantage. So when making something like this, because it's not drawn, you've got to find things that suit your, specific angles and things like that as a, baseline. But you also need to worry about overlap and positioning, and like you make a great trait, but then 30 other traits are going to be right on top of it. Like what's the point in having a cool necklace if the helmet, it covers it entirely? So just sort of very, very raw level, almost mathematical limitations that you've got to work around. So there's a lot of, I'm sure you found this as well, but when you export, you're doing 10,000. So just combing through them and doing quality assurance to make sure that, this fire tail is not too big, it's not too small.
And this is a process that you took on, like you basically, because I did a similar thing with quality control, but because of so many, I had a little team. But did you take on this all on yourself, basically? Did you run the?
Yeah. Fortunately, the team was really, really keen to help out there with the QA as well, because 10,000 you can't just you'd be there for days. But so sort of doing the initial sort of runs, I guess you'd say, like we did groupings of, say 20 or 25 traits, and then you bust those out. Everybody takes a look, you get some nice feedback from the team, and then you incorporate that, but very much a sort of, leading that charge with some fantastic team members to support.
It's so epic. Can you talk a little about Rooster and like kind of what's next for you? Like, you've,
I'd love to.
Also, do you have like this day job that you're leaving the AMA early for? Is that something that's on the like you're on the cards to kind of get rid of? And do you want to move solely into the NFT space, or are you kind of like always keeping one foot in the kind of like the real world, or this the paid animation jobs?
Yeah. Look, it's a real muck around, I gotta tell you, because I've gotten a fantastic position in the past sort of year and a half, a really good promotion. And up until that point, I thought that was the peak. I thought that was going to be the thing that I really wanted. And then by doing this process, my brain is absolutely with chicken. The side hustle has become the hustle, and the day job has become the thing that I have to do to sort of finish out.
So in other words, yes, there is a plan to kind of like hopefully transition out of that day job. Like, is that the answer to your question?
I mean, if you want to, push me into the corner, I think it's like emotionally, I know I'm headed there, but unfortunately there's a sort of, like bookings in sort of month blocks. So you've got to, I don't want to leave all my colleagues in the lurch all of a sudden. So there's just a management aspect there, but we are sort of, there's these really big things afoot for us here, and there's never been a better time to double down as far as I'm concerned.
That's awesome. It's even like, I mean, how on the cusp are you keeping these conversations about what you're doing here outside of the space over at work? Or are you very like, definitely this is what's happening, and letting everyone know?
Oh no, it is an absolute secret. I feel like it's just too messy, or I don't know, just some sort of.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
That conflict of interest there. I don't want to get sprung daydreaming about chicken while I'm supposed to be, tweening some spheres.
Yeah, I love it. That's awesome, man. Thanks so much for that. That's it's really good to get an insight of kind of like how this project and your work within the project kind of came together so organically.
Very much so.
Yeah, it's really cool. I love that you're kind of using the space and letting the space kind of manipulate what you're doing rather than going full balls in gravy style. I love it. Thanks so much, man. I'm just going to move on to our next guest. And And
Yeah,
then,
for sure. Hey, don't forget to put your submissions in for the Rooster Traits competition in the Discord.
there you go.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. If there's anything else you want to kind of, just kind of let down, because you are going to be dipping off pretty soon. So please take the opportunity right now to just kind of like let everyone know about the project, and of course what's coming for people.
Oh yeah, of course. Well, that's the thing for us. It's very multi-layered. We've got sort of this NFT aspect as the baseline, but then there's a lot of sort of GameFi going on, which, as not the financial guy, I don't want to sort of murder the explanation, but yeah, when you roost these chickens, you're laying eggs. You can stake and get feed, and this whole tri-token ecosystem thing it's a real buzz, man, and it's really working out because we've got people like paying off student debts and things like that. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's really successful, and we're going to use that to sort of reinvest in ourselves and the community to sort of we've got the P2E coming up, which is also in development, which I'm getting to sort of animate and plan out a lot of as well with Sherbok.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of plates being spun at the moment, and it's very satisfying seeing it coming together.
That's so fucking exciting, man. I've been following the project for a while now. I mainly got onto it purely because it was like the fellow Aussies thing, and I got onto it. But when I started, when me and the team started really delving deep into the project, it was there was so much about what you guys were doing and how you were approaching it, which was some of the stuff that we've kind of taken away and tried to model off as well. So you're doing a great job, and thanks heaps for all your hard work.
That's so flattering because I really like to swear, right?
Absolutely, dude.
Cool. I really fucking like mingos, man.
Oh, who doesn't like flamingos, man? They're the most loved bird in the world. They're so weird fucking looking. Have you seen that video of the flamingo?
Yeah, the one
that bridge.
Into the bridge? Yeah, I watched that this morning. That was wild.
It's so fucking wild.
Poor thing.
Thanks so much, man. Again.
Yeah, thanks very much for having me. And sorry, I've got to dash off. But
no, that's okay. It's okay. At least you got the opportunity to answer the questions that I wanted to know, and give a little bit of insight into who you are as an artist. So thank you so much, man.
An absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
No worries, dude. Absolute pleasure. Merebi.
Yes.
Is that am I pronouncing that correct? Merebi.
Hey. Yeah,
Hey,
that's correct.
Okay,
I'm
awesome.
sorry for being late.
No, that's okay, man. Totally fine. Merebi.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you so much for being here, man. It means a lot. So Merebi is our first artist that has released artwork both on Ethereum and Polygon Matic. So it's really exciting to have you here, Merebi, because the idea of this podcast is 4 guests, but eventually we'll have one from all these separate chains. So it means a lot for you to be here, and thanks so much for taking the time.
Thank you, man.
No worries. So Merebi, he spends most of his time daily creating art. He also does dolly work and tasks as an architect. So that's really interesting. Probably makes a lot of sense with all the straight lines in his work. I'm going to post a bunch of his incredible work here in the chat room now. But other than previously working with acrylic paints, charcoal, and pastels, Merebi has now made his transition into the digital realm as a digital artist. So he's currently focusing on 2D computer graphics or illustration. He has a series out at the moment, which I'll start dropping some images in here for you, everyone to have a little bit of context. But his series that he has released at the moment is called the Imperfection Collection. Now, that's on Ethereum? Is that correct, Merebi?
Yeah. Yep.
Epic. So I'm just going to drop one image for now, and then I'm just going to wait for you to start talking, Merebi. But this is an extremely different style. I was so drawn into this. Again, Twitter is a place where I like to find a lot of my artists, and just purely because images just jump out at me, and Merebi's work just jumped straight into my eyeballs, and I was fascinated, and I want to know about his process. So, Merebi, I want you to talk to us all about your transition to the digital space, because I'm going to drop a bunch of your your pencil and your drawing work and stuff in the chat, and then now that people have context with this image that's sitting here, I just want to know. In my opinion, you've come to the digital space and you've found a style, or you found something here which is truly, truly, truly unique, and you've really found your way, the cleanliness versus your physical work. Can you talk about this massive experience for you about transitioning your physical art into the digital space?
So yeah, thank you for the introduction, man. First, I started like traditional artist, like we can say, like with the charcoal and acrylic and stuff. I've been creating art like this way since long time. I don't remember when did I start exactly. To be honest, I was against the digital art, like in somehow at some point. Like I felt like it doesn't feel right, like it doesn't feel like art at some point. But I think I was wrong. We should follow the evolutions. Like we should develop. So I started like basically like 2 years ago, like when the pandemic started. Most of us, I think, we started at that time, moving to the NFTs world, and so I started creating like the imperfection collection itself. It's like old collection. I started it like 10 years ago with acrylic, but I worked like on 3 pieces of it in that time, and I left that collection. After 10 years almost, I decided to move it into digital and to develop it into like when I entered the NFT space, I decided to start with this collection and to make it completely digital. So basically, I'm working now on this. The idea of imperfection is to create like different. How can I say? It's like finding the characteristics, the imperfection characteristics, like a human characteristic or different environmental characteristics, and turn it into like one abstraction picture. And you can see, yeah, from the line there, I use very hard lines, and it's coming maybe from the architecture background I have. Yeah, that's it, basically.
Okay, so you in the chat room here, I posted the very early version that you found of the imperfection collection, the green guy, and then I posted the kind of the rendition.
Yeah, actually, they were. I had like 3 pieces. I tried to find it, but I couldn't. Like I tried to find pictures for them, but I couldn't find them. I need to dig deeper, I think, for them. Okay. It's the one I sent you, yeah, the green guy.
So interesting. So your kind of entry into the space was kind of looking at your body of work or the works that you've done in your past, and then choosing something that you thought you really connected with, or more so choosing something that you thought would be able to come into the digital world well. Is that right? And you're like, this will work digitally, and then you took that body of work, which you say you've been working on for 10 years, right? You took that and then started to create it digitally. Is this correct?
Yeah, exactly. Like this piece, I loved it. Like this imperfection collection, like I loved it at that time. Like when I started it like 10 years ago. But I stopped at some point. You know, you find different ways. You try different stuff, because I tried many different techniques in art. Like I didn't stay just with acrylic. I tried to work with mixed media, charcoal, and different stuff. And I tried to find myself first. So I tried many different art styles and different ways and different materials. But I think at the end I found out that this piece, the piece I created at that time, it's the thing. I think it left something in me. So I wanted to continue with that one. So as my first collection in the NFT world. So I started sketching and developing it, and I think so far it's going very nice. Like I like how it's going.
They're incredible, man. Like everyone is so incredibly unique, but there's no part of the structure or the actual artwork that changes. So for us here, can you talk about how you do approach each one? Like, you obviously have the face, the standard face, this cubism, surrealism like face that you don't change that. That's stock. You're not going to ever change that. You use the elements there, but then these backgrounds, there's so much character in the backgrounds. Can you just kind of talk about your process? Like, do you sketch? Do you sketch this on paper and then come up with the idea and then make it digital, or are you Okay.
Yeah, the main drawing, well, like it was like the real sketch. There was the first sketch, and then after the first sketch, there was the general outline I use always. So it's as you are saying, it's one outline, and then it's coming like in different characters and in different traits and backgrounds and other stuff. So now it's more about like digital. I don't use like sketches anymore. I just start directly working on the digital one because I have already the outline I'm using already.
Do you find that interesting that like you for someone that kind of hated the digital world so much, now you're just working digital, right?
It's funny because now I love it.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Because, before, I don't know, at some point I thought it's weird, like to not feel the art, to not touch the pencil or the materials, and to not. But at some point it was weird for me. I don't know why, but at one point I thought like I should try something new. I tried my first digital piece wasn't this collection. I tried to work on many like normal abstract stuff at first. And I started enjoying it. So I said, why not? Let me try with something I like. So I chose one piece I like from my collection, and I tried it, and the result was satisfying for me. So I started going one by one, and I'm still creating.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So yeah, just before I interrupted you, can you again just talk more about your process, like how you approach each one? You said you have your structure, you have your sketch and your outline. You don't fuck with that. But like even thinking about these things, like how do you for example, the one with the cactus and the desert? Do you literally go, oh, I want to do that, like, and then you just work at it, or where do these ideas come from?
The process is tough a little bit. Like it does, like the ideas, they don't come very easy, like because I have to create many different materials, and I try to go into very different characters, like a human character or still life characters. So it doesn't come that easy. Sometimes it takes me like 1 or 2 weeks to think about just doing one, like to get just the idea of doing this painting or that one. When let's say the desert one, I'm very sorry, guys, because I'm sick.
It's okay, man.
Yeah. For example, for the desert one, like sometimes I try to focus on like human characteristics. Sometimes I try to focus on like still life things. I just start creating. I don't know. It just goes on. Like I try to find something interesting, and I just start, and it takes me somewhere in somehow. Like I don't plan it from A to Z. I just start with A, and it takes me step by step to the end.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And do you have a history in graphic design at all? Because it seems here that you've kind of you're using a lot of laws of graphic design, and mainly the color scheme. Like you're sticking to a really, really concise, like 4 or 5 color palette. Like you don't go any more than 4 or 5 colors. Is that right? Even sometimes 3. Like the color palettes and the color matches in your work is epic. How do you select your colors, or do you just let that all happen kind of organically, or do you have rules that you know?
No, the colors are based on the character itself. So I choose the colors based on the concept I'm creating. For example, the desert boy, the colors should be like it should be related to the desert. I will not create something pinky for the desert boy. So the whole concept itself, it's like complete. It's complete concept. I don't try like I try to I just try to leave it like 3, 4 colors, 5 colors. It seems more comfortable for the eye for me. It looks like more satisfying for me in somehow. Maybe some pieces they will need more colors, but the concepts I created so far, they just need this, like, according to me. Like,
you start with the mask, right? Like you color the mask and you color that guy, and then based on the colors of that inspires your background, and then you create a background that matches the mask that you've created, right?
Basically, it's like the concept is like this, yeah.
Okay, awesome. We have Dirty Deeds. He's asked a great question. He wants to know what you use, as in I'm assuming program. Like, what do you use? Program, I guess, and materials to create these.
Basically, I just use Illustrator.
Okay.
It's just Illustrator. Sometimes I use Photoshop for some touches. But basically, it's just Illustrator. I like this software, man.
And no pen?
No pen.
Epic. Okay, awesome. Yep. So you're working with shapes. It's so just for those people who are very interested in this collection and want to know more, I've got 2 questions. What's the cap on the collection? Have you put a number on how many of these you're gonna create? How many have been created? And have you considered coming over to the smaller chains so that your potential collectors can dodge those big, ghastly gas fees?
Yeah. For the collection, I don't have I don't have like very clear roadmap for now. Like, I don't like roadmaps. Honestly, I like stuff just to goes on. Some people like to create their own roadmap, but for now, like, I decided. So till now, it's gonna be 250 imperfections, but this number can change for me. It can be 200, maybe it can be 300. So we will never know. It's not certain.
You're purely in this for the art, right? It's just where you. Yep, love it.
I like the art, so it's not like it's a project for me, but it's not that much project. Like, I will not limit myself for with roadmap for now. So I just decided it's gonna be 250. I created almost 50 till now, or 53, I think. For the blockchain, I'm trying to, I started with the Ethereum, and then I moved to I didn't move, actually. I just started to drop some multiple pieces with the Matic. I'm thinking to be I'm trying to be in very different, like, platforms to reach different people. Maybe. But I'm not limiting myself with one blockchain, like to be on Ethereum or to be on there. Maybe I'll try some new stuff.
I absolutely encourage it, man. I think either the AVAX or, of course, without said, the Fantom scene. I don't know if you've ever looked into Fantom or the just the art scene here on Fantom. It's if you haven't looked into it, have some fun with that, because that may potentially blow your mind. It's a really, really epic space. And all artists with all their unique styles and however the fuck they want to release their shit, everything is basically either on AVAX or on Fantom. We've found that it's just accepting. Everyone just kind of lets artists do what they want, and of course, gas fees are fuck all. So
yeah.
You can actually, if it's about expanding your audience and getting more collectors, those smaller chains without the gas fees is the ways that people can actually afford your artwork, which is great. Dirty deeds. All right. Thank you so much, Merebi. I want you to stick around because after we get through the next two guests, we're just going to open up and have a bit of a chat as artists now that we kind of know each other kind of thing. And we'll discuss a bunch of topics. So I'd love your input on those. So stick around, man. But thank you so much for all of that. That was wonderful. Our next guest, guys, is Kvarters. First of all, Kvarters, am I saying that correctly?
Yeah.
Nice. I'm glad. Okay, so Kvarters is desirably very analog. He says he draws on pen and paper. He sculpts in clay. I'm so excited for this one because there's been so much epic material, visual material that you shared with me. He's a digital illustrator, I guess, after using his hands. This man, he likes to use his hands. He says here, which I love, I think, I write, take pictures, paint, and sculpt. This guy, you know what you do, and I love that. It's awesome. It's like, not here to fuck spiders is what we would say in Australia. Full-time ceramics and glass sculpting. And by glass sculpting, I would assume you mean blowing as well, glass blowing.
I'm not an expert on that, but that's like I studied in that field. Yeah.
I've seen the amount of care that and like, you know, carefulness that takes that it's epic that you're even walking down that road. He describes his work as surrealism, tribal art, psychedelic art, or is similar to some sort of digital print or woodblock style, which is awesome. Okay, so he has his collection. It's called Destination Mirage. It's his first collection of one-of-ones that will continue to 100 pieces. Curious as to know what number piece we're up to already. But his next generative project is actually in partnership with a member of the audience here, which is a fellow artist called Bush Doctor. He and Bush Doctor have a project that is yet to be named, but things are in the works, and good things are in the bag in the prospects of this collection that I guess is just in development, correct? So, Kvarters, as I drop these incredible images into the space, can you talk about you basically being the flagship example of someone who's so incredibly physical with their art, loves to use their hand and manifest things in the real world, but you've made such an incredibly successful transition into the digital space. Can you talk about your introduction to NFTs and how you as a ceramic sculptor and a physical artist found NFTs and take it away, brother.
Sure. I'll try to get on that. It's like last year, right? Or I think around this time, I was just like starting on my bachelor's project in ceramics and glass, and I studied in the university in Stockholm for that. And I was feeling, I don't know if any in the audience have been in that kind of environment, but it's really, we've all been to a traditional gallery at least, and all these kind of spaces, and it's kind of stiff, and it's kind of has this like, it has one vibe, right? And it's all about being clean, and it's all about like finding some kind of essence and like getting really like, at least the culture I got into and this like school I was attending. So I found myself in the free time and like the time I had when I was not sculpting and doing like this project that you're seeing here. It's called like, I call this How to Build a Temple, this project. I was sketching at home, like in the night in my sketchbook, and just like thinking about drawing, and like I was trying to invest in crypto, didn't go so well, and like just thinking about it, right? And then like eventually after I graduated, because I studied in total for 5 years doing this practice, you need to make money, right? Because I was just always approaching it with this like, okay, now I have student loans, now I have the freedom, I'm just gonna create in the studio and just do like, let the flow guide me, let the material guide me, but in the end of the day that doesn't pay the rent, right? So for some reason also I've always loved like just drawing and like illustration and things like this. So And also like I had this longing for like an environment that was more open and more like, yeah, I guess in a way that I at least on the Fantom space think or feel that it is like it's allowed and you can try things out, and I've never experienced the same kind of openness in the traditional world. So I think that was kind of what ended up, yeah, got me in there. It's how to just put it easily, yeah.
Okay. That's really, 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 really epic. And your goal obviously is to essentially transition your space as an artist over here almost full time into the NFT marketplace. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. And I'm already like, I don't know, I wouldn't compare myself or say that I'm like super successful yet or anything like that, but I've already like decided whatever happens, I'm gonna do art. Like it's what I'm gonna do. I just have to make it work. And we'll see like in the future how much like I can merge this, like the knowledge I have in these materials with like the digital space. Like right now, it just like, yeah, you guys all know everything is time consuming, right? And like especially these things, like what you see here, this glass plate is something I tried with a friend, and like it takes so much time. Like for him to do this plate is too advanced for me. I can't do it. It takes so much time to even get that right, you know. And then like I draw this print, and this is kind of cool. Like if you're into geeky stuff, like the glass is photosensitive. So it means basically that I just draw with a marker, and then when we light it, it acts like an analog or like a traditional camera. But it's really like to do these kind of things, you just need a lot of money and a lot of time and things like this. So like it's still something I'm juggling with, you know, like how much can I do that and like blah blah blah. We'll see, but I love it, and I'm not planning to like quit either or. It's just like, yeah, I'm slowly just gonna keep up both.
I think you're being here early where you are right now is the perfect place to be, because I think we're going to see a very large push towards how physical projects work. I'll give you an example really quickly. Like my housemate, he's an incredible luthier, right? So he creates instruments with wood, and that's like such a traditional art form, right? Working with wood, but we've been thinking of this way to create like an economize an economy of materials where people can stake for materials, and then earning a certain amount of materials eventually, you know, can be redeemed for a physical, and then that physical burns off the supply of what's available, and things become more valuable and harder to get. And you know, I think with tokenomics, there's actually such an interesting way for people to redeem physicals and make it like a really enjoyable journey to redeem physicals.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, just be open and be ready, because I think it's definitely not just a digital space. I think all art of all forms will find their space in NFTs. I'm going to drop 2 images here, and I want you to fire away and talk about, or maybe in response to something I'm going to ask.
Yeah,
I've dropped this. I've dropped that particular sculpture, and then this as a piece of your digital art, because I want people to see the similarity of how, like, you know, all the elements like dots and lines and the way that things wave and the general movement and feel of your art, even in sculpture, translates so perfectly. Like there's no there in my mind, I look at the sculpture and I look at the digital, and it's so perfectly, it's so clearly from the same person. So can you talk to everyone about how this style, where this style has been developed, like how long it's taken for this style to develop, because it's so uniquely your style, and then how what the transition from the physical to the digital version has been like?
yeah, sure. Thank you so much for all the compliments. I think, I don't know how long. I don't know, at least 12, 13, 14 years maybe.
Wow.
And I've always been doing like the same kind of thing with these black lines with just normal ink pens, on and off. And I would recommend, and like really, like it does something with you, like changing material. And for me, it's also fascinating sometimes, like to that like everyone has some kind of, I believe strongly that everyone has a like really strong inner language, and that will like express itself really clearly in whatever material you choose. So it's kind of, yeah, I for me also it's kind of, but it's just so different, right? Like if I work with clay, like, because in a way you can say that clay, okay, like this, clay has memory, right? It has a will of its own, like it acts like
Yeah.
in its own sense. Like I can't bend it how I want because it will not listen to everything. I have to listen to the material, and like uh, when it dries, like I have to like there's certain stages I have to like wait for with it, and I think that what I love so much now with working more digitally, that like I don't have to wait for nothing, and I don't have to like burn it. I don't have to like mix some chemicals in a lab. I can just like go, and that's what I've been loving so much with the transition to digital. That it's more direct, and it's like less. I don't have to go to wash my hands all the time. I don't like have to stop because I can't do a certain move at a certain time. So there's a lot of things I find with working digital that really is amazing, fantastic, really. So I wouldn't say the one takes out the other. It's just like good for different things, and because I guess you can also never find the same kind of materiality in a digital piece. It's just not possible because you can't see the hand touching it. Yeah, something like that.
It's epic, man. It's seriously awesome. So what you're saying in a lot of ways is there was no really you've been doing black line kind of drawings like this for quite some time, so there was no real thought process in how do I transition. It was more just like, man, I know exactly what I do, I know my style, I know exactly what I have to give, because it's, like you said, it's something you've been working on for what, like 12, 13 years. So
Yeah, I guess the latest time, like last year, I started to realize, at least when I was working with sculptures, I was like trying to place them in a room, and I was like, "Fuck, how can I make like people understand where these come from, right? Because some of them are really strange, and like it's hard to like place them." So then when I was working with physical things, I started to make this like what I shown first, like a temple or some kind of scene, some kind of installation. So I think that was what naturally followed when I started a Destination Mirage project, that like these are some, like, I don't know, some alien, some imaginary, some psychedelic creatures that exist in some mental kind of universe, but like put in this format, at least what I feel when I'm working with it, works really, really well, at least for me when I'm working with it.
totally.
And for people to understand like what to think about them, at least in some sense, yeah.
It's really interesting because you know, I always attribute, well, at least at the moment, a lot of the artwork that comes out in the NFT space is kind of like, even though it's 2D, there's a massive relationship between just background and foreground. There's not much else to it. It's like I've got a centralized image that I'm really going to focus on to be my centralized image, and then I've got an opportunity to apply character through my background. You know, that's kind of, if there's a similarity between everyone's work, that's kind of how, you know, the similarity here. And it's I guess with what the sculpture lacks is that background potentially. Like, you know, it is this, and of course it's like what it gains over 2D artwork is its 3D element. Like you were saying before, the ability to touch it and walk around it and see it from so many different angles and perspectives. But the amount of character and the story that you can tell in your 2D and colorful work is a kind of a different thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Can you talk about the message? Like, what is this artwork about? Well, like if you were to kind of put a finger on, you know, what you're about, like what is this? What are you intending to evoke through this work?
I'm trying to be free, man. I'm trying to feel free.
Yeah, awesome.
Like it's all I'm trying all the time. Like just this feeling when you feel at least like totally just calm and in the moment, and just like letting things happen, and
Yep.
being just I think it's that's the main thing, and just enjoying, right? And just do like art I enjoy, and hopefully other people enjoy too, like in the end.
Yeah,
And
it's just the most honest way to go about it. I love it, man.
yeah, so in the end, I think it's really simple, but I think, yeah, maybe sometimes it's easy to make it more difficult too, because of course you want to make like new things all the time and like new ideas, blah blah blah. But
It's in a way very similar to Merebi that we just heard. It's just kind of like, this is my
yeah,
style, this is
yeah,
what I
yeah, yeah.
do. Like, fuck it. You know.
Yeah, I resonated a lot with a lot of things he said, and especially this transition part as well.
Yeah, it's epic. Thanks so much, man. That was awesome. Obviously, stick around because we're gonna continue the chat after our final guest.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much for having me, man.
Oh man, it's an absolute pleasure. It's the artists and the perspective I gain from doing this stuff is just an educational level that I cannot explain. Like, it's just constant inspiration each week. It's good. It's good for my brain. So thank you.
Thanks.
Ragnakakuu. How are you, brother?
Hey, what's going on there? I'm good. How are you?
I'm excellent. So Ragnakakuu, it's awesome to have you here. I'm just going to do an introduction for you, brother, and then I've got a couple of questions to throw you away. Ragnakakuu is an artist on Fantom. He uses Procreate pretty much solely. That's kind of where he spend probably 10 hours of every day. Digital art is his medium, creating the unique elements of his series called Angelons. Digital art and paper. He's also currently a tattoo apprentice, which just makes sense to me with your style and the way that your line work and your precision. I think it's as soon as I saw your digital artwork, I just imagined it on the body of a human being. The project he has currently, as I mentioned, is called Angelons, and that's releasing. It's generative, but in the sense that you just kind of punch them out one after the other.
So it's not generative. It's actually one of one hand drawings.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Definitely.
Epic. So Ragnakakuu, please tell us about how long you've been drawing. I notice there's a lot of influence in anime, and I guess, like, you know, is that the kind of the basis of where you began drawing, or where did you kind of begin? How long you've been doing it, and how did you find the space?
Yeah. I've been drawing since I think maybe like third grade. And I was always inspired by like cartoons, anime, Dragon Ball Z, stuff like that I would see on TV. And I just so happened to like pick up a pen and pencil one day and just wanted to draw like my favorite characters. And like after just a few years of me drawing, and even like drawing like tattoos on people with like an ink pen in fourth grade and fifth grade, and people loved it and people wanted it. So I just kept drawing and drawing. And my parents found out that I had like this talent for art. And it's really been incredible. I've always wanted to draw since I was a kid. And just recently now, I've entered into the NFT space because one of my buddies that I used to work with, he inspired me as well. And what such a great artist he was. And I thought I was a good artist as well. I never really thought that I would go anywhere with art, because one of my family members kind of like, you know, shot my dreams down and was like, hey, you won't really kind of make it as far as making money or being known until you're like dead or whatever. And this was like back in the day. But nowadays it's like this whole new thing of the NFT space and world. And I'm just like, wow, I'm like, I have like a second chance of like actually wanting to draw and like presenting my art as well. So everything happens like so crazy to me. It's like I bought an iPad because one of my buddies drew great and I wanted to draw like him. And then next thing you know, I had like an apprenticeship for tattooing as well for a career. and it just kind of like fell in place. Like I can like knock two birds with one stone. So it just makes me draw and create even more, and it's amazing. So I can't be, you know, I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful for it, and it's so new and it's exciting. So I'm very thankful for that as well.
Absolutely, man. I think in a way it's a bit of a fuck you to that guy who told you you'd never make it, right? You're just like,
Right, yeah.
because this is a space that the more you inject, the more you get back. You know, I think that's
Definitely. Definitely.
So, can you kind of talk about your style and kind of how this developed? I mean, I'm very interested. You know, you said about your more stories like in fourth grade and stuff. Like, you know, did you have you ever delved off and into lore and like how and more so like creating random characters of your own? Have you delved into storytelling? Like, you sure you got inspired by Saturday morning cartoons like so many of us, but how did you get to this point of like literally evoking, like perfectly evoking the anime style? Yeah, how did it go?
So I really, even though I like it like anime and stuff, I really wanted to create my own original character. And I just feel like that's more much cooler that the brain can think of different things. I know I have like other references, of other animes and cartoons and other artwork as well, but I just kind of really wanted to make something my own. So I just came up with these chibi versions of these full body like angelic god beings. And I just wanted to make them all different, from different universes, different world. And in the beginning, I kind of drew it almost as a generative, but then as I look over like the 8 drawings that I've had, I'm like, you know what? I really want to change them all up. And that purple one right there was one of my first 8 that I drew, but I ended up scratching him out. So he's not in the collection no more, but all these other guys, as far as Angelon 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, they're all different with different wings and head shapes and backgrounds and stuff like that. So I just wanted to make them look cool, man. And I really love like the smaller character versions. If like let's say you had a big character, but then you just kind of size them down to mini versions. So that was really how I came up with that, and they look pretty cool, And I think I would be doing either 25 to. I've been debating with myself. I've been kind of thinking of like either doing 25 or even maybe 50 max, just because I have so much going on right now, and I can only push out so much NFTs a week. With just working with like a 9 to 5 and doing the apprenticeship, and also going home and staying up late drawing my Angelons and trying to come up with new themes for them. So, it's pretty exciting, man. It's a lot of hard work.
Yeah, for sure, man. Another one that we've got to now put on the list and make sure they quit their day job in the next 12 months.
Right? Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, it's epic, man. I see a lot. I understand why you have approached each one with, such different, like, you want everyone to be completely unique in their own way. But I'm looking at the structure that you're using here, and there's no reason why I feel like this could be a generative project. I mean, with a much larger connection, But I mean, obviously, this is you lay down your brand and your style, and obviously you've got a large future ahead of you. So maybe the Angelons is this style, and maybe you might delve into some generative next. Can you talk about like the relationship with the background, so the foreground and the background? I guess I want to know particularly with these examples that I've dropped in the chat here, the background, I guess, is visibly to me a combination of photo and elements as well. And can you just talk about kind of like how you bring these backgrounds to life?
Okay, with the backgrounds, in the beginning, I've kind of kept it basic with using like certain brushes and certain elements to make certain elements for the pictures, depending on what the theme was. Like as far as the red angel line goes right there with the skulls, I really kind of wanted to make it like a certain domain with like kind of blood-ish with cloudy and like just the lighting of the effects, kind of like his own realm with his theme as well with that one. The snake version one, Angeline, I kind of wanted to make him like go go or like come enter into like a different dimension as far as like Phantom realm goes. So it kind of has that pixelated square boxy look effect behind him.
Yep.
Yeah, that I feel like that was pretty cool, and just exploring new brushes and just new things on the iPad with Procreate. It's very interesting. Yeah,
Totally.
and it's like
It
it gives effects. It gives certain effects that I've never done before on
cool.
paper back then. Yeah.
So in a way, like it kind of makes way more sense why this can't be generative, or why you've approached it in the way that you have, because like you said, you're like you create these angelons without the background, and then you go the way you describe, you go in and like totally think about the world and where this person comes from and what they do, and like
Yes.
sick as that's so awesome. Okay, so let's talk about like the first step, like how what the hell is your where do these angelons come from? Like, what's your process of thinking about it? Like, and when I say thinking about it, like, you know, this guy with the halo and he's got orbs and shit. Like, are you going you're going full DBZ and just being like, yeah, this dude, you know, you're actually thinking about this story as you're drawing it. Is that what happens?
Kind of. It's like I sketch out certain characteristics of the characters and what I want type of powers for him to have.
Yeah, cool.
And what was the question again? I kind of lost it.
Do you make like just like how the hell do you come up with each one? Like, what's the process? Are you inspired by something, or do you just start and go, okay, this guy's gonna have like backwards wings and fucking five eyeballs, or you just
right? Okay. You know, I get certain references from like, you know, all over. You know, just certain themes, certain characters, and certain either wings or backgrounds or powers, or even like legs, torso. And I just wanted to get, you know, I just kind of take little bits of certain ideas and kind of incorporate it in my own. And like as I'm drawing them out, like for example, the white guy with the orbs and stuff, that's kind of like the orbs are like his little power that he can manipulate and shape shift in a way as well. And as far as like the zombie guy goes, I really wanted to do like a zombie trippy psychedelic type of theme.
Yep.
So that's where I ended up. I'm like, okay, well, since I'm gonna do like a zombie trippy psychedelic type of theme, I was gonna add like maybe some worms and some bones and like mushrooms and kind of like a real vibrant background, and just hopefully I can just make everything together. But yeah, it looks cool though. So, and all of these would be like on a physical as well. They'll receive physical as well. So it even looks greater on like an acrylic canvas.
Epic.
On your wall at home. Yes.
Does each one like do you add each one with a story and a lore? Like, do you give them a backstory? And is that available?
Yeah. So yes. So at first I didn't have a lore, and I wasn't really good with like storytelling and like telling stories with the characters I created. But just over time, and the more that I put my energy and time into this space and this community and with my artwork, I ended up making lores for them as well. I made a lore for the last three, but I didn't really make a lore for the first one because I couldn't think of one at the time, and I was just trying to juggle everything. But one day, I'll probably have maybe an amazing lore for all of them all together once it's completed. Or maybe even during the process as well. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it, you know, just hearing the way you organically just talk about, like, you know, this guy with his orbs and the way that they manipulate them, like, I wouldn't shoot yourself in the foot, man. I think like just letting the story, don't worry about storytelling too much. Just be honest and get the stuff down as it is. Like already, you know, he's got orbs that he manipulates and shit. I'm like, dude, done, sold. Like whatever. That's fucking cool. You know what I mean? I don't really need to know any more than that. It's really cool, man. And I love it. It really reminds me of kind of what I used to do as a kid, just coming up with fucking random. I got a question. Do you make sound effects when you're drawing?
No.
Damn it.
Not yet, but maybe
Damn it.
on the next one, maybe this fifth one that I'm releasing, I might do some sound effects. I'll let you know as I'm
I meant
doing it.
Now I'm confirming now that I am weird and strange because
You're fine. You're fine.
No, when I used to draw shit like this, I would like, my own characters they're floating in the air. I would literally, when I'm drawing it, I'm just like making up all these like stupid sound effects in my mind because my imagination's it's really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man, that's really cool. I love how like honestly you put your you just get to work and you're just like this Angelon's just gonna be whatever it needs to be. I think that's fucking it's really awesome and organic.
I think another thing that I'm working on is like posturing on all these Angeline as well. I'm giving them some other different postures that just make the image kind of pop even more, and just giving them more depth and detail of what they do or what they can do as far as their powers and where they're from as well. So the next few ones that I release, probably within the next 2 or 3 weeks, that'll be cool as well. So it'll definitely be something to look forward to.
Epic,
I'm so excited though. I'm so excited.
Crypt in the Crypto, he wants to know which one's your favorite piece. I guess out of the ones that we've posted here today, which one's your favorite?
I think my first one, Angelon 001, the white guy with the orbs. He was my original as well, and I think he's my favorite. The white theme with the black wings and the golden black orbs, and his specific powers. It's cool, and all the other ones are great too. The snake one, the hellish one. So, yeah, my first one definitely.
Love it. Awesome. Thanks so much, man. It's so good to kind of get deep into where these come from, and I've just loved everything you said.
Definitely. I thank you for you having me and reaching out to me. It's God's blessing. I never thought I would be on an AMA. So. Oh
man, it's just every artist should have an opportunity to talk about what they do and how they do it. That's what it's here for. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Wicked as guys. Well, that's it. That's every artist introduced. We're going to move on to the next stage of the AMA, which is basically just a casual conversation. So if anyone in the audience has got any kind of topics that they want or would love to hear, select a bunch of artists kind of discuss and talk about, and that could be space related, that could be process related, that could be creative block related, whatever it is. Please just slam them in those questions in the chat room.
Definitely.
But yeah, I guess let's just talk about and start off with a bit of a conversation of what we're excited for and to see in the space at the moment, and like where as artists, where you see the trajectory of everything that you're witnessing day to day as you log on to the metaverse or some bullshit. Like, where do you see this all going? Just at this point, feel free to chime in wherever you can. We'll everyone just kind of have a piece to say on each question. So yeah, what's the trajectory of the NFT spaces for artists?
To me, the trajectory would be like just, I don't know, giving everybody like an opportunity to be able to like create their artwork and be able to just put it out there and have people acknowledge them and just give a good feeling of this opportunity, man. It's so crazy because like artwork back in the day isn't like how artwork is nowadays. And I think it gives a lot of people those great opportunities to, even getting their name out there and even just making a little bit of cash or whatever their intentions are. So that I think that's something definitely cool for everyone. And it's just the space is just it's so like happy friendly and like everybody's just so like loving and friendly. It's just I don't get this at work, like my 9 to 5.
Yep.
Usually you go into 9 to 5, either you hate it or you're not having a good day. But like as soon as I get home and I get on a Discord and chat or even Twitter on my NFT community, it's just everybody's just so, the energy is amazing. It's great, and it's not like my 9 to 5 job where I'm like, I can't wait to clock out, and so excited just to go home and even stay up late and like drawing and just coming up with new things and how you can better yourself as an artist. And I feel like, you know, even though it's a good community as well, and like there is potential like money in it as well. I feel like for me right now, I dropped like 4 angel lines, and I made a little bit of money, and it totally helps out with what I need to take care of as well, and it gives me that extra like cushion, just knowing the fact that okay, my 9 to 5 isn't paying me that much, and it's kind of like a paycheck to paycheck every week, just kind of making ends meet. But then like with this, it's like I have something to kind of fall back on. So like just in case if anything happens, I can pull out something or just pay my bills or anything like that, or rent or my kid. It's amazing, and I didn't think I would ever be here. I thought I would always be doing a 9 to 5 like the rest of my life or something. But this is something incredible that people can get into, and as long as they focus on their artwork, in the community, everything else will come after that. So that's how I really feel about the NFT space, and it's crazy.
It's epic, man.
Yes.
Merebi, Kvarters.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I'm thinking a lot about that. Well, the NFT space is here to stay, right? And like this with other change interacting with each other. I think it's going to be a big move too. Like we're already seeing that, like bridging to NFTs to other chains, and yeah, there's a lot of things to talk about with that. What could happen, but it's a lot of opportunity. It's also a lot of concurrence, and community is super important, and to have spaces like this is super important. And yeah, it's hard to choose where to start to talk about it, but it's definitely like an explosion going on, right? And it's just like a question of time before it gets mainstream. And the only thing I'm wondering is like, when will all people like interact with NFTs, and will they know then that it's NFTs, or will it be called something else? And yeah, it's exciting. It's a lot of things happening all the time, every day.
Yeah, it is intense, and that is a good question you pose as well. Is like, what happens when the world enters this space? It's going to be pretty intense. It's going to change drastically. Merebi, can you share your experiences with this, because you've been over there on Ethereum? I mean, how long have you been over there? Like, how much time have you spent over there in the space? Like, I mean, a lot of us on Fantom have only been here, 6 months, maybe more. Like, can you talk about kind of like how you've seen the NFT space change?
For me, it has been like 1 year, I think, or a little bit more than 1 year. For me, I'm living the moment right now. Like, I think it's it's very nice. I like the guys; they said everything almost. So, but for me, the community is very nice. Like, it's very friendly, as they said. And another very nice thing, like artists, really, they started making getting the value they deserve with the NFTs. So they create what they love, they make money. What's next, we never know. But like currently, the situation is great, I think, for all artists. I think everyone is living the moment right now. Yeah, it's happy.
And how have you seen the space change from being introduced into it on Ethereum or on Polygon, a year ago? What do you feel you've really noticed? Like, or in maybe what have you seen the space change in ways that you didn't actually think it would, or Shit, sorry guys. Just asked a question. Oh, I asked a question, but I was on mute. Yeah, being introduced in the space over a year ago, what have you actually, like, can you share your experience on how you've seen it change and how you've seen it morph, maybe in ways that you wouldn't have expected?
I think it's like when I started, I thought it will be easy, but I think with time it's getting more competitive. Like the world of like there are in the world there are lots of artists, everyone like is there. They're trying to show their talents. The very amazing artists out there. Everyone is trying to get like his place in the NFT world. I know many of us, most of us will not get. They will not get the thing they are thinking about. But at least we should try. I think all of us. At the end, we are creating what we love, so we are not losing anything. So we create what we like. If it goes like good with us, like it's gonna be nice. If not, at least we are creating something like we like. That's it basically. Like I noticed, like now the diversity in the platforms now, like when I started with Ethereum, like I didn't know other blockchains like actually. So I at time like there was no specific reason for me to start with Ethereum, so I just started. But later on, I noticed different platforms, different blockchains, and I think it's a good thing. Like regarding the Ethereum gas fees, like for many other artists to start, and as well, it's very good for the collectors. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's epic. It's good. It means it's kind of, I guess, what we all wanted to hear, is that it's just kind of organically growing and becoming what it needs to become. That's awesome. So we've got a question here. Crypt in the Crypto. He wants to know, how do you guys feel making these arts? So I guess I'll just dissect the question a little bit. Like, how do you guys, do you feel foreign? So if you're, for Kvarters example, like, oh, I've done it again. Sorry, guys. So Crypt in the Crypto has got a question here. It says, how do you guys feel making these arts? I'll try and dissect the question a bit. I'm guessing like, for Kvarters, for example, he's someone who's coming from sculpture. I don't know, like how do you feel kind of creating your art in this space and like for this space? I guess, is it exactly what you want or needed, or is it kind of something that you're still learning and quite foreign to?
I think I'm learning all the time, really, every day, and like especially like now, for instance, me and Bush Doctor, we're working on this generative project, and it's also since I think summer I always thought about that's fucking cool to do something like that. But yeah, like for instance, I can clearly like I sense quickly like he's got a lot of like more experience than me in like working with Photoshop and like doing it the proper way and these things. So I catch a lot of things there like quickly, and it's especially so I guess that like with cooperation, it's something that's giving me a lot over here as well. And I don't really like analyze so much right now. I just try to do like what I can, but I can definitely like see on my work as well, like when I started my own project and where I am now, that like I'm growing all the time and like I'm picking up different things, and I'm definitely being like influenced by the space and with like where I mean, you Froyd have a lot of experience with this like generative thing, doing the flamingos too. I'm sure you must have like experienced, I don't know, how was it for you, like with this thing, out of just curiosity? With the flamingos,
it's been pretty wild, to be honest. Like, being thrown into or throwing myself pretty deep into the space. The flamingos, whilst I'm very proud of it, and it's like taking a lot of time and work on my behalf, it's still not my close to heart like style. I was actually working on a generative project for my band, which is kind of builds out is the core behind our team.
Mm-hmm.
I feel strangely at home, even though it's still like you said, even though I'm still learning something every single day. I feel like I've found a crowd that I assimilate with, artists that I have also grown up drawing Saturday morning cartoons and stuff like that. Like I feel like I almost can so strangely vicariously live my own experience through all of these artists that I get on and I talk to and I meet every week. So yeah, I strangely feel like I've found my people. I think that's a really exciting part of it, but there is also a bit of a nervous energy there for me, purely because with the potential of the space, right, with the potential of what NFTs can do and where they can grow, whilst that's super exciting for me, I'm also very nervous of like the wrong people getting in on masses and like, you know, just it getting out of control really, really quickly. I guess that's really the basis of where these kind of AMAs come from. It's like I really want to promote the connection between artists and make sure that there is a massive network and we've all talk to each other at some point, you know, so that when so that when everything picks up and it goes fucking crazy and Nike's coming in and Adidas is coming in and everyone's just throwing their big dicks in, we can all just be like, you know, we can all be like, it's all right. Like we're the OGs. We've been here kind of manifesting this for a long time, you know?
Yeah, for sure. That's a good point.
And I think like NFT is like fairly new. I don't think I learned about NFTs until like maybe, I don't know, like last year or last summer. I don't know about you, Froyd. When did you learn about NFTs?
It was what, like 5? I mean, dude, I've been around NFTs like a lot. Like one of my best mates has kind of been in the crypto space a lot, you know. And every time we went out for a cold beer, he would drill it through my brain. Like, dude, you gotta get in the space, man. You gotta figure it out. Right. that classic shit. Like, you know, what are you doing, man? Like, and I kind of always, you know, as the stubborn artist trope always does, I'm just like, yeah, you know, man, I've got my fucking thing. You've got your thing. Like, you know, whatever. My curiosity wasn't there yet, but I really took the deep dive probably 6 months ago to start learning and to start kind of seeing what it is all about. And like I said, now I found my people. So, you know, but I've been around cryptos a lot, and I've been around, you know, since the dawn of Ethereum, I've been around like the idea of a smart contract, and I've always seen the value in that. I've just kind of always just waited. Just patiently waited. I never, ever felt like there was any rush to get involved. I knew that I really, really wanted to do it. If I was going to do it, I was going to do it right and be knowledgeable and want to learn. You know, not just throw it in. So, to be honest, I'm the exact same as everyone else, man.
Right. Yeah, dude. I learned about NFTs maybe like, I don't know, like 6-7 months ago. Just, you know, scrolling through TikTok. Seeing people talking about NFTs and digital art, and I'm like, what is this, you know? And I remember telling a buddy of mine, I'm like, dude, your drawing is amazing. I'm like, dude, get into this NFT, bro. And like, it's just a whole different space. And 6 months, 7 months later, it's been like successful for him. I haven't talked to him recently yet, but I'm going to reach out to him just to see how he's doing. And it's just like, dude, it's new, and like, who knows, like maybe one day in the future, within the next couple of years, when, you know, they release the metaverse and like this reality or digital reality, like who knows, like people's NFTs or their drawings could be like in the game or in the world itself, and like next thing you know, you're walking around in the reality and you see one of your NFTs pop up, like, you know, it's just crazy. Like, who knows, what if, you know?
Yeah, it's a dark, deep hole. Of the unknown. Merebi, do you have anything to chime in on here, man? Do you want to throw some insight in? All good. Sweet as. I want to just kind of maybe cover one more topic, guys. If you have anyone in the audience, if you've got any other questions that want to get answered before the end of the episode, just make sure you think of them, chuck them in the chat room before we finish. But I just want to talk about kind of the change, I guess, in which we're going through in terms of utility, right? I want to talk about kind of whether you feel threatened by the need or the use or the I guess the demand for utility behind works. Do you have a strong stance on this as an artist? Will you always kind of stand as your one of one, kind of always just do whatever the fuck you want and just live off your kind of crowd? or is the utility aspect of the brand utility aspect of being an artist, is that something that you're kind of you're thinking about as the space grows?
Oh, that's a tricky one, but I could maybe start off with some thoughts. Like in general, I think just personally for me, I would that like the art is enough. That's kind of my like bottom line standpoint. That like if the art is good enough, like it can hold without utility. But it's also like we're in this cool crypto like economic space, right? Where these digital assets can be traded and everything. So like I'm open for anything really with this like evolution. And if the NFTs I make in the future or even soon could have some utility, like being teamed up with some other people or something, I'm welcoming that. But like I don't feel like I have the knowledge personally or like anything like that. So like I'm just I think the bottom line is just that I think like really good art stands on its own and doesn't need utility. But it doesn't make it like less like either better or less. Yeah, you get what I mean. Like it's not
I definitely
better
agree.
than anything else. It's just like two sides
Absolutely.
of the same coin, really. That's like how I see it, I think.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know how you guys think or how you like resonate
Yeah,
around.
true. Like utilizing art, like now at some point now, it seems like utilized art is like, yeah, I got what you mean, like at higher point like the normal art. But I think it all should be same, like it's some people says like, yeah, me too, I don't have that much like knowledge and like into this topic, but I think art is art, that's it. So the value isn't that, that's it.
Yeah, I say the art speaks for itself, with or without utilities, as well. But with either utilities or like even physical pieces that comes with it, to me is a bonus. And I just kind of started doing physical for my NFTs as well, and it'd be so cool to just have something like on the wall, where when you just walk into your living room or into your dining room or your bedroom, and you have one of your NFTs right there on the wall or something like that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
For
definitely
sure.
like the art itself, it speaks, and if anything else comes with it, that's a bonus in my eyes.
I think I
Um,
saw
Exactly, yeah.
I think I saw
yeah,
some print you made, Ragnarok,
yeah,
on your Twitter. It looked sick. Really, really,
yeah.
really.
Right now I'm working on four of them to send out to all my holders, so it's definitely gonna be cool, and I can't wait. It's coming soon, probably within this week. Yeah,
Cool. Looked amazing, man.
It's
yeah, definitely.
it's pretty interesting in that sense though. Is like I think artists got to be careful not to forget that they are their own utility. It's I think utility
Hmm.
definitely exists in an artist. So, if you're buying one of ones and you're backing an artist, they are the utility. Like the more you buy, the
Hmm.
more they'll create. The more their work sells, the more that's just gonna fucking drip and feed out of this artist. It's kind of the best thing.
Hmm.
It's like one of the most sure bets in a way. Like if you back someone's collection, you back someone's work, you're stepping them away from their day job. You're putting them on their Procreate and their iPad every day, and you're just
Yeah.
fueling this fire which is a utility. Like you can't argue that's utility in some way. It's
Hmm. Definitely,
there's pieces coming out. The more you give, the more you get. That's as simple as
definitely.
it works.
That's a really good way to put it, man.
Yeah, I wish I can like not do my 9 to 5 and just like go full throttle with my like tattooing and NFT things, but it's just something for me right now. I'm just kind of holding on just to make sure that
Yeah,
everything is
but
going all right.
you're an artist, right? Like we're all
Yeah, dude,
artists.
I can knock like two birds with one stone with like drawing NFTs and creating and just being part of the community. And just a 9 to 5 takes like 8 hours a day from you. So if I had that extra 8 hours a day, it'd be
Crazy,
like incredible of
crazy.
what I can put
Yeah.
together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm talking about. Is you're the fire, and all your investors need to do is just pour fuel on you, and you fucking ignite. You know.
Right.
The coolest thing about artists, I find, most of the artists I've met and I know, one skill that you get on top of your talent or whatever, you know, your style, is perseverance. And that shit is fucking hard
Nice.
to get, you know, and
Yeah.
it means when you enter a new space like this, you will fucking persevere and you will stay true until you quit your day job.
Right. King Acid. Love you, bro.
It's amazing what struggle does, you know.
Hmm.
You need it. You need the resistance.
Yeah, you really do. All right, guys, thank you so much. This has been an epic chat. Thank you so much for coming on and being a part of this. I'm just going to go quickly through for everyone who's in the audience what we covered today. This is obviously going to be up on YouTube later, so you can check it all out. But we had Chicken. Chicken works on AVAX as a 2D, 3D motion designer who's created these kind of like playful, absurdist chicken collection, a generative of 10,000. We've just heard from Ragnakakuu, who creates his one-of-one Angelons, as well as he's got much plans to quit his day job and keep making art. Kvarters, thank you so much for sharing all your insight into your clay work and your sculpting and kind of where you are as an artist or were as an artist before the space. That was a beautiful insight. And of course, Merebi, thanks for being our first Polygon/Ethereum artist on here. It means a lot for you to get cross-chain artists on here. Thanks so much for sharing your journey, your process, and who you are, man.
Thank you.
I love it. Thanks so much, everybody, for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah, if there's anything else, if there's anything else you want to say, any dates that are relevant, or anything you want to drop, any kind of alpha or whatever you want to get out now, please just go for it.
I like to say thank you, everyone that's on the stage right now. Everybody that's listening in, Froyd, yourself as well, just for inviting me. And just being able to just talk about everything as well is just super amazing, super incredible, and hopefully we can do it again one day. And yeah, you know.
Of course, man. Make sure you reach out with any of the new Angelons dropping or any new collections that you're working on, and we'll make sure we try and get you back on to talk about it.
Definitely. Thank you.
It goes for everyone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I can just quickly say, like, keep your eyes and ears open for this generative project. Me and Bush got cooking, and it will be soon. Like, pretty soon. I won't say when, but pretty soon. And thanks again for being such a good host. I just want to say it once again. It's been a pleasure.
My absolute pleasure, man. Thank you so much for being here. Merebi, anything you want to drop? Anything you want to talk about? Are you going to announce right now that you're going to be moving over to Fantom soon, or?
Yeah, I think I will move to, like, I will not move completely. I'm thinking about, like, you know, joining some new platforms. Hopefully Fantom will be one of it. I think that's all for me. You know, I talked enough today. I'm not like a good talker normally. I know how to draw stuff, but thank you for having me again. That's all basically. Thank you.
I think you talk very well, mate. I love listening to you talk. So good.
Thank you,
Awesome. Awesome, guys. Thanks so much. Like I said, don't be a stranger. Reach out when you've got new collections or new works that you want to kind of plug and talk about. We'll get you back on. I'm doing this every week. We're up to episode 7, almost up to episode 10. I'm going to celebrate when we have some Pinksy Dust when we get to episode 10. But yeah, thanks everyone for being here. Thanks to the audience. I'll get this up on YouTube ASAP. We've now, if you don't know, we're running 2 AMAs now. We've got our one that we get an artist and we talk juicy details on art. And we've just opened up another one called Neck Deep AMA, and that's all for those alpha lovers and D-Gen lovers. So you can, teens on acid, that's fucking hilarious. That will be me, episode 10. Yeah, tune into that. That happens the day before, so that's it's 12 a.m. UTC, I believe. So midnight UTC on Tuesday, I think. I'll confirm that. But just follow in the Discord here. We'll just get, you'll figure it out. Once again, thanks so much, guys. Absolute legends. Thanks for being here, and everyone, thanks for listening. This has been Final Export Episode 7. Cheers, Az.